This necklace was also enjoyable to make. It was a fantasy necklace, so I didn't have to be so precise with my gems, and I got to stretch my creativity a bit. Started with Arborvitae that I had seen on my mantle. It dried, and I thought it looked a lot like seaweed, so I put it together. Now, one of the things I learned is that obviously Arborvitae is not going to have the shape necessarily that I want. It's awfully brittle. So if you take a look at the right hand side, you can see that I've actually glued some wire to the back of the arborvitae to extend it and make it more structurally sound. You're allowed to do that as long as it does not show. Now the piece that's hanging down a little bit, that's beige, that's actually twisted raffia so that if it does show, it won't be an issue. So with a mermaid necklace, I wanted to come up with some things that I can incorporate into the design that would reflect what a mermaid might wear around her neck. So I started by looking again to nature, and I found these little mushrooms growing outside. I put a little bit of epoxy on the back of them because they are rather pliable and they're not really very strong. So once the epoxy dries, then you've got a pretty strong piece to incorporate into your necklace, and it will look like a little shell. To create tiny little starfish, I went to the rhododendron and took off these little pieces and glued them together to create a star. You're allowed to take your plant material and glue it together to create a different shape that you might need. The tiny little pearls are white pepper that I had to drill, and that was real fun. You could sneeze the whole time you're doing that. And I put them on little toothpicks, put a tiny little bit of epoxy around them so that they are a little bit more durable before you paint them with nail polish to make the pearls. The star anisette, this was fun to work with. It smells so good when you're working with this. And I go to Asian markets and buy it in bulk so that I can find the pieces I want. This one is very pretty, I thought, because it had all the seeds in it still. I use the silver bells eucalyptus, which are shaped like shells, to create the shells. And I drilled a hole right through them so that I could string them on with the pearls. And that's what it looks like together. The little shell, if you can see in the left-hand side and then also on the right-hand side, is actually opened up with a pearl inside, meant to look like an oyster or a clam. And that's just a cantaloupe seed that's been cut in half with a little mustard seed as the pearl. You can again see the shells that I made out of the mushrooms and the starfish that were made out of the rhododendron pieces. The necklace itself was made with Norfolk Island pine. You can go gather these, I guess they're needles, these pieces, and they come in two different colors. You can get them brown or green depending on when they fell off the tree. They fall, you can find them at the bottom of the tree. And I collect them and I keep them in a bin with some silica gel just to keep the moisture down. And then you can soak them in warm water and create whatever shape you want. And you can use styrofoam and toothpicks, and you shape it in whatever way you want, and it just will dry that way. It's wonderful. Now, they don't come this long. They come in a particular length, and they actually have a tapered down look. So you have to kind of match them up and glue them together if you want a longer piece. But here it is spray painted in gold. It's a very pretty look. I love that.